Today we get to start dividing fractions. I'm going to teach you the acronym that I have always used whenever I teach dividing fractions, and it is very similar to KFC because we like fried chicken, but it is actually KCF. That is your rule that I taught you when I had to very quickly teach you how to divide fractions with the standard algorithm in our bell ringer a few weeks ago. Because if you follow that rule, you'll be able to divide fractions. All you got to remember is KCF. So the K stands for keep the first fraction the same. If a whole number, then you need to put it over 1. The C stands for change. You're going to change the sign to a multiplication sign, and then the F stands for flip. We're going to flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. Reciprocal is a vocabulary term that you need to know because you're going to hear me and other teachers from here on out use that word, and it's called reciprocal. It means that it is basically the opposite. So you're taking it's the inverse. So you're taking your numerator and your denominator and you're flipping places with them. They're changing places. Okay, so steps for dividing unit fractions by a whole number. That's what we're starting with today. You're going to keep the fraction the same. You're going to change the sign to multiplication sign, and then you're going to flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. But before we can do that, there's one step that we got to do. So let's go ahead and start by keeping this first fraction 1/6 the same. Change divide to multiply. And what does step 4 tell me I need to do? Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, step 3. You got to flip the second fraction, and it has a little note. It says that whole number needs to be over 1. So I'm going to put a 1 underneath that whole number so I know to flip it to 1/3. Okay. Now, I just multiply my numerators and I multiply my denominators. So 1 times 1 is 1. And then 6 times 3 is 18. My last step, number 5, is to simplify if needed, because y'all know we no longer write fractions that are not simplified. So my final answer is just going to remain 1/18. If my numerator is 1, it's already simplified as low as it can go. Okay, let's do another one. 1/2 divided by 4. I'm going to change. I have to put my 4 over 1 to make it fraction form, and I'm now going to flip that so that it says 1/4. Multiply straight across. Numerator times numerator is 1. Denominator times denominator is 8. So my final answer is already in simplest form. It is 1/8. What does it look like? If I have 1/6 divided by 3, the first thing I have to do is divide my 1/6 model into 3 parts. So I'm going to, why is it not? There we go. I'm going to split my 1/6 model into 3 parts because I'm dividing it by 3. Now, 1/6 of divided by 3 is going to be this one little section, because if I had 1/6, right, all the way across, but then I divide it into thirds, what does that leave me with? Just this one little section, which is representing what? 1/18. So I had 1/6, I split it into thirds because I'm dividing by 3, and I end up with 1/18. What if I have 1/2 and then I divide it by 4. What do I have to do next? I have 1/2, but I'm going to divide it by 4, so I'm going to split this into fourths. And one of these pieces is my answer. What does this equal? 1/8. So that's what it will look like. Any questions on this page before we move on? Okay. What if I divide a whole number by a unit fraction? So now I'm reversing the order that I had it in. Remember, keep means what? Keep first fraction the same. C, change sign to what? Multiply, which is the times sign. And then flip the second fraction to its reciprocal. Reciprocal. Okay, now because I have a whole number first, I have to make that whole number a fraction by putting it over 1. So I'm going to do 2 over 1. I'm going to keep that. Then I'm going to change to multiply. And I'm going to flip that second fraction. And then I just multiply straight across. Where did I get lost? You keep. I'm taking this problem. I have to put that over 1 to make it fraction form. Change to multiply and flip the second fraction so it's now 3 over 1. Multiply my numerators. 2 times 3 means my numerator will be 6. Denominator times denominator. 1 times 1 is 1. Simplify if possible. What does this reduce to?
6.
Just 6. All right, here are my steps written out for me. Make all numbers into fractions first. So we're going to do this step by step. Again, so you see one more. 2 becomes 2 over 1. So my problem now looks like this. I'm going to keep the first fraction the same. This is my keep step. I change divide to multiply. So now it looks like this because I did my change step. I'm going to flip that second fraction. So now my fourth step looks like this. And I now have a problem I can solve. I multiply numerator times numerator, which equals 16. Denominator times denominator, which equals 1. And because it's 16 over 1, it's improper. I need to change that to a whole number or a mixed number. 16 divided by 1 is 16. Okay, do we have any questions? Are you ready for your practice today? Okay.